death, I'm pallbearing, not at all scary. When I open like Fetty Wops, then find to these Urkels that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring on them, Rick flaring, son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man, A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the SWAC, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts, my advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? You already know this. Your boy Scotty back with another one. Hey, you watching Offscript? Listen, I had to come correct today. Okay, I had to change the T-shirt. I had to put the merch on. I'm back from Montgomery, Alabama. Literally just got off the road about 2 hours ago. All right, me and the wife and the kids, 10-hour drive back from Atlanta. Just got off the road doing this spring game review because I know you guys been waiting, but it's a lot of stuff in tour. So, I haven't picked it yet, Zay. I ain't picked it yet. Stay with me though. All right, stay with me. All right. So I'm back. Let me just say this. Shout out to everybody that I met down in Alabama State, down in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay, shout out to you guys, everybody I met at the Alabama State Stadium. Okay, I don't know what you call it. It's the Alabama State Stadium, the Hornets Nest, Hornets Den, Hornets Couch. I don't know what you call it. I was there. Now listen, you know I gotta give you. I'm gonna give you my overall experience down in Alabama. Okay. Now, first thing first. You know you in Alabama. First of all, you know you in the South, but you know you definitely in Montgomery. If you start seeing them bubble Chevys with the scraped up paint, you know what I'm saying, with the cop light in the front that don't work, I was like, yeah, we in the South. Because, you know, we up here in Ohio right now. You don't see no Chevy Caprices and bubble Chevys up here in Ohio, okay? You know you in the South. You damn sure know you in Alabama when you start seeing them bubble Chevys. They was everywhere. Left side, right side, paint dented up, rims, mismatched colors. I'm like, we are not in Kansas anymore, okay? We are not in Kansas or Ohio anymore, right? You ain't gonna see no box Chevys up here, no bubble Chevys. It ain't happening, okay? So that is what it is, man. I had a great time. Listen, I had an absolute marvelous time down at Montgomery, Alabama. First thing first, I got to talk about what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing yard apparel. Any merch you see that's Alabama State, it comes from the yard apparel. If you're an Alabama State fan, I already know you know about my guy. You know what I'm saying? This is my guy, Demetri. This is my guy, okay? Gives me the he ain't SWAC shirt, what I got on right now with the A State, the Alabama State in the background, all that. Okay, all that. So when you come and you want to come correct, better make sure you shop it at the Yard Apparel brand. There's another one that looks like Prairie View. We don't buy that one. Okay, we don't buy that one. It's a purple logo. It's the same thing with purple. We don't buy that one. That's Prairie View stuff. We don't buy that one. You go get the Alabama State stuff. Okay, we don't do the 12 fan stuff. Okay, we do the Alabama State stuff. Okay, but yeah, go get you some Alabama State gear. Top of the line. This is all embroidered, stitched, nice. Okay, nice. Make sure you go get you something. All right. Oh, what's up, Coach KJ Black? See, we ain't talking about no Prairie View today. All right. We ain't talking about no Prairie View today. So let me go first and say this. All right. I gotta give you the atmosphere, right? You know what I'm saying? You know how you go to church, you gotta set the atmosphere, right? I gotta set the stage for what I was getting into. Now, I've been to a few spring games in the SWAC. Okay, I've been to a few. I ain't been to all of them, but I've been to a few. I've been to Grambling. I've been to A&M. I've been to Alabama State. Who other spring game I've been to? I think that's it. So yeah, I've been to a few. Been to a few spring games. Not a lot. Been to a few. All right. Now, the best one by far. Now, I never like an early spring game. I don't, listen, 12:30 is too damn early for a spring game, okay? It's too damn early. 1, 2 o'clock, okay, cool. 12:30 is too damn early. We'll just say that right now, right? But the best one I've been to, hands down, it was super kid-friendly. They had like this little bouncy house that you could shoot hoops in. They had like this little inflatable that you could race and have mazes. They had all type of food trucks and stuff out there. They had the mascot out there. All type of a great family environment. All right, let me just say that off the rip. Great family environment. If you had your kids, it was a great time. There's a whole bunch of little boys running out there. My son had his football. They was playing football, throwing the ball to one another. Absolutely amazing time. And what I liked about it was a planned event, right? Like when I went to Grambling, it was just like, hey, we supposed to have a spring game. we doing the spring game. Now, there were people that cooked out and tailgated, so that made it cool. In Alabama A&M, the last time I went to the Alabama A&M spring game, that shit was all jacked up. That shit was all jacked up. They had a car meet at the same time they had the game. It was hella early. It was like 10:30 in the morning, like 9 in the morning, some stupid crap like that. I'm like, who does that? A school who don't care about football does that, right? But this year, you got that bad man, Paul Bryant, one of the top ADs in the SWAC. What does he say? I'm going to push this game out to 4:30, right? Like that just makes common sense, right? So it is what it is. So overall, great family environment, right? For the atmosphere. Great family environment. Let me just show you some pictures and stuff. Listen, my kids had a ball. You know what I'm saying? They met the mascot, Stinger, whatever his name is. They met him, took pictures, you know what I'm saying? My daughter in the middle doing the Andrew body pose. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that was before Dr. Bryant. I know that was before Dr. Paul Bryant. Trust me, I know. All right? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have never been to Bama State, right? I know this picture, this is like right when the game was starting, okay? So, you know, y'all can talk about the attendance or whatever. It was actually a lot of people there. I took this picture right before the game started, so that's why it wasn't a lot of people there, because it was at 12:30 in the freaking morning. All right? So, Bama State Stadium, let me just say this, is magnifique. Like, I don't think people, if you've never been to Alabama State Stadium, it shits on everybody. I don't give a damn who you comparing it to. I don't care who you're comparing it to. It shits on everybody and everything. Okay? It is the best damn stadium by far in the SWAC, by far. It's like Alabama State's like Mercedes-Benz, right? Mercedes-Benz, and then it's like Pontiac. Everybody else is Pontiacs. And Mercedes-Benz, Pontiacs. That's how this stadium is off the freaking chain. I'm just like, what makes it even worse is how y'all suck. Y'all were sucking so bad. Like, how are you this ass and you have a nice stadium? Like nice. Like, for real nice. It makes the losing look even worse, right? Because you can explain Paho State losing for 12 years. It's Pahos. And it takes you 3 hours to get a hot dog. And it's just chaotic, right? You can blame Bethune-Cookman for losing as long as they've been losing. They play at like a city high school stadium that nobody wants to go to, right? Or you can blame Grambling for why they haven't won since so many times, right? Because it's like, oh, nobody shows up. It's the whole whoop-de-doo, who cares? But what makes Alabama State losing even worse is that's what you're losing in. I would have been fired Donald Ely. Been. Like Alabama State got to be one of those jobs where if you don't win in the first 2 years, there's no excuse. Like, it's really no excuse, because you shit on everybody. Your facilities literally shit on everybody, and you lose. So when I tell you this is a PWI stadium with blackface, listen to me again when I say this. Alabama State has a PWI stadium with blackface. It is that nice. And they got a freaking club in the stadium. stadium. They got a club in the stadium. Like a legit lounge. It was amazing, bro. I'm sorry. It's dope. It's just absolutely amazing. Like, I said I wasn't gonna say this on the channel, but I'm gonna just be honest. I was talking to my wife. We was walking back to the van, and I was like, babe, if my son wanted to play HBCU football, yeah, Alabama State would be number one. It'll be like, and it's because of the facilities, right? Like, how I would break it down is this: like, if my son came to me and said, Dad, I want to play HBCU football, number one would be Alabama State because I know the facilities are going to be off the chain. Number two is going to be FAMU because I know they care about football, right? Number two will be FAMU because they care about football. And then it'll be between Southern or Alcorn or, we're not doing Ohio State. So it'll be between Southern and Alcorn, right? Because they have a football tradition. They care about football and stuff like that. But it'll be like Alabama State number one, FAMU number two, and then the rest, right? Because it just is what it is. You just cannot, I can't explain enough. Thanks, babe. I can't explain enough how nice these facilities are when you compare it to everything around the HBCU football landscape. It's just crazy. Like, so I'm telling you, if there's no stadium you have never been in, you have to go see Alabama State Stadium. I'm dead ass serious. I am dead ass serious. I'm not playing. No jokes. All joke aside, you got to see this stadium in person. It's just that damn nice. All right. Now, what I thought was absolutely dope, right, is they were doing on the Hornet Sport Network, right? They were doing on the Hornet Sport Network when you come to Eglin. They were doing like their own little show, and they were broadcasting the show on the Jumbotron. It's better than PV because people that have been to PV Stadium say it's a nice stadium, but it's like a Texas high school stadium. Like, it's good for Texas, right? It's a good. They say, like, this is a bit what people tell me about PV. PV is a nice stadium, right? It is nice. That's what they say. They say, but it's not Alabama State, right? Alabama State has a college group of 5 stadium, like legit group of 5 stadium. PV has a Texas high school stadium, which is nice. Texas high schools are nice, right? So it is what it is. But I thought this was amazing. So they were broadcasting their show through the Jumbotron. You could hear it throughout the stadium. The pregame show, absolutely dope. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely dope. So it's dope. It's dope. It was fire. I can't fake on this. This was dope. And you can see Khalil and his and the other co-host, and they were doing guests. They had AD Cable, and all that stuff. They were just coming in, having the show, and you can listen to it. It was dope. It was dope. It was a dope setup. It really was. Now, let me say this. This is how you know I'm not no bandhead, okay? This is how you know I ain't no bandhead. I saw this, and I was like, damn, I didn't remember Alabama State Band being that big. I'm like, because I saw them at the Mad City Classic. I'm like, damn, I don't remember them being this big, right? Listen, these jokers were playing so loud, I couldn't hear myself think. It was, I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, and then somebody band-ish had to explain to me that they had combined some of the high schools and the college band together. I was like, shh, listen, I thought this was their band. I was like, Jesus Christ. That shit was so loud. I'm telling you, I couldn't hear myself think. It was so loud. Like, legit. I was like, yo, they are freaking blowing. And it sounded so nice. It sounded so good. They played Erykah Badu. They played Twin, Where Have You Been? Nobody. They played everything. So it was a great experience. The band, listen, because this was my kid's first time at an HBCU game, right? Even though it was a spring game, this is my first time my kids experienced an HBCU game. So I was just happy for them to experience the whole gambit of just the whole gambit of what comes in the pageantry and everything like that. So, my daughter was like, "Dad, they're so loud." I was like, "That's what they do. That's what this is. This HBCU stuff." So it was a great experience. I'm telling you, I had a great time. Andrew. My son calls Andrew, Uncle Andrew. He out there throwing the football. You know what I'm saying? People say, my SWAC card is declined. The boy's on the field. Stop playing with me. When the quarterback was in your wedding, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? I had a good time. Drop this one, I think. You dropped that one, but we had a good time. How was the turnout? It was pretty good for a spring game. It was pretty good. It wasn't like pack. It was pretty good. I'd say maybe a little less than 1,000. You know what I'm saying? A little less than 1,000, probably. Maybe like at 1,000, probably, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just a dope experience overall. Really dope experience. Want to give a shout out to the Orange Blossom Classic. Hey, listen, this is when you actually believe in your partnership. They showed up to the spring game, right? So they showed up to, listen, don't quote me on the numbers. I do not know the numbers. It was a good turnout. It was a lot of kids out there. It was junior day. So it was a lot of recruits out there. Do not quote me on the numbers, okay? Because I don't want nobody from Alabama State talking about Scotty trying to bring our numbers down. Listen, it was a lot of people out there, okay? There was a lot of juniors out there. There was a lot of football players. They had a lot of recruits. They had at least about 70 recruits on the sideline just watching the spring game in itself. The band members, the band families, and all the people came to watch the game. So please do not quote me on the numbers. But it was a good amount of people. It was a great environment. It was good enough to cheer and all that type of stuff. So it was good. Want to give a shout out to the Orange Blossom Classic. Listen, they showed up for the spring game to promote the game for the OBC, you know what I'm saying? Gave away a free 2-night stay for the Orange Blossom Classic if you participated in the raffle. I thought this was great marketing and great promotion for the old people who ain't on social media, who just, they live locally, they just go and they visit and whatever. I thought this was great marketing, great promotion by Alabama State and the Orange Blossom Classic. So it was just a great look for them and the partnership that they got going on for the OBC and trying to promote it to make sure it is a good turnout. I thought this was an amazing job that they did with that one. They had a whole booth and the mascot was there and everything. So they were 100% behind it. All right. Man, I really did. I really enjoyed myself. I really did. I cannot fake. And my son was in the promo video. Shout out to Alabama State putting my Drake kid on my Drake baby on the promo video, man. I was like, oh, that's my. I ain't show it to him yet because he gonna be like, Dad, can I see it again? Can I see it again? Dad, can I see it again? Oh, Dad, you see how I caught that ball? Yeah, that was me right there, Dad. Like, so I haven't shown it to him yet. So he be feeling himself. He'll really be feeling himself. All right. So shout out to Alabama State for that. Now, let's get into the game. Let's get into the spring game review. That's what y'all came to see. I talked about my experience. I absolutely loved it. Shout out to Montgomery. I'm definitely going to come back. All right. Definitely going to come back. My offensive standouts. Listen, Alabama State people. Okay. Alabama State people. Let me say this. This kid, number 23, Anthony Gates. Now, he's not the biggest back. He's probably about 5'9", 5'10", maybe 180, 175. But the kid is nimble. The kid can float, and that boy, he can shake you in a phone booth. He got that boom bop. I love that boom bop. If you got that boom bop, I love it. So shout out to him. I love that kid. All right. I don't know if he can carry the load. I don't know if he can carry the load for Alabama State like a 3-down back, but Jesus Christ, that kid is good. I'm talking about like, don't miss. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Don't miss because he's gone. I know we don't talk about upbacks a lot, but this kid, number 40, Dylan Creech, he different. He's the Bubba offensively. That's that, and I know that's a high compliment because you're talking about Bubba, all SWAC defender, all SWAC linebacker, second runner-up in back-to-back years for defensive MVP. I think he's a Cal Juszczyk for Alabama State. Like, he could be that good, and he's so versatile, right? Because it was one play, they split him out wide. He was like the tight end in the situation. He kicked, he blocked down, sealed two blockers, and the running back got up for a touchdown, right? So he does all the dirty work that is not going to show up on the stat sheet. It's not going to show up in film if you don't know what you're looking at. But the kid is a football player. Shout out to BJ. BJ was like, Scotty, I'm telling you, this number 40 kid, he liked that. I said, what do he play? He said, fullback. He said, when you go look at him, right? So I already had in my mind, I got to check. I wanted to see what he was about. Kid different. I don't talk much about fullbacks because a lot of schools don't use fullbacks. Yes, he can catch. They put him in a 2x2 set. They put him in the slot. He did an out route, caught that joker. So the kid is a football player, just a straight athlete, big white boy who loves to hit and will do all the dirty work. He's a special kid at the fullback position. He is a special kid. And listen, the first team offensive line looks really good. Now, I'm not a tactician with old linemen. I know what bad old linemen look like, right? But from what I saw, the way they were able to run the ball, the way they were able to pass protect, and they looked the part. Let me just say that too, right? Alabama State's tackles looked the part. Their center and guards look the part, right? So their old line looks solid. If everybody stays healthy, it's an offensive line that you can see yourself behind and it be in the top 5 of, probably rushing attacks or things like that. Now, and of course, that bad man out of Corpus Christi, everybody, come on, say it with me. He had a day. He had a day. And listen, I do not care what you say. I do not care that it's a spring game, right? When you have expectations and when people know your name and people are expecting you to show up and show out, you have to perform. You have to perform. You gotta make them say, why? Because everybody asking, why the freak is Scotty talking about this young man so much? He just does what he does. He has the potential to do it, right? He has the tools, right? Like, I don't know if anybody's like remembers them old school baseball. They say he's a 5-tool player. Like, Andrew has the ability to be an all-time great, right? And he comes out the gate off of, he's rehabbed his shoulder. He's 100% healthy. I talked to him. He's put on some weight. I like, you good? How you feeling? He's like, Scotty, he's like, cuzzo, I'm good. I'm Gucci. Let's go. I'm amped, right? So first couple plays, they run. They do a I think it's a 2x2, turn into a 3x1. They do an RPO. The ball gets caught in his hand funny. It's a touchdown. It just comes out of his hands funny, right? And me, I'm in the stands. I'm like, damn. I'm in the stands like, stop playing with these kids, body. Stop playing with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, stop playing with these kids. You know what I'm saying? Show them what we working with. We not out here to play with them, right? So he goes down, they run the ball, they score. Next drive. Comes back out. Run the first play, second play. 65-yard dime in the bread basket. In stride. Touchdown to the crib. Okay? Listen, and let me be very honest in my assessment. And I've told anybody that would listen, my only problem with Andrew has always been his accuracy on his deep balls. That is my biggest issue in his game is because I know he can hit all the mid. He can hit the comebacks, he can hit the digs, he can hit all that. It's those posts, it's those goals, and it's those corners, right? Those are the routes that quarterbacks make their money. On the deep plays, when you got that shot and you take it and it hits and you go for 40, 50, even a touchdown, right? Those are the routes you can't miss. And he did not miss it. And he hit two of them. One, the receiver dropped it. The other one, in stride, touchdown, right? So that's what I wanted to see. And I was good with everything else. I was good after that. But I wanted to see what it was. And if you go back and shout out to my boy Zay, you know what I'm saying? Patriots corner. And say, I need a jersey. You know, tell me where to buy it. I'll ship it to you. You sign it, send it back to me. All right. But if you go back and if you remember that game against Jackson State, when they played at Jackson, not Texas Southern, when they played at Jackson, Andrew missed like 3 post routes that were for touchdowns. You see what I'm saying? Like he literally, I'm talking about, it was nobody around the wide receiver, right? It was no, I'm a DM you, Zay. I'm a DM you on Instagram. There was nobody around, you know what I'm saying, the receiver, and he just overshot him. And he did that 3 times. You're talking about 21 points that was off the board, right? So those are the plays you cannot miss. You get what I'm saying? Shador ain't going to miss them things 3 times. Cam Ward ain't going to miss them things 3 times. So if you have aspirations of going to the next level, those aren't the plays that you can't miss those, right? You know what I'm saying? So that was my critique of Andrew, that I wanted to see him take that next step to where now you can't sit on the short stuff with Andrew. He can go over the top of your head and still run, because if anybody remembers, he went for a 60-yard touchdown against Jackson State that same game and got called back for a holding. So what I'm telling you, he's a 3-level guy. He can run it himself. He can throw it, and that's what makes him a complete package. And he's just a gamer. He's just a straight gamer, right? That's why I'm an Andrew Body fan. Shout out to Mr. Green for bringing him to my now. I'm always going to give Mr. Green, Coach Green, credit for putting him in my scene of focus. And then I watched him, fell in love with the kid. All right. Now listen. Offensive scheme. I want to be very, very, very clear. From what I've seen and from what I feel and from what I've heard, they're not going to ask Andrew to throw the ball 30 times. Unless they're down by a lot, Andrew is not going to be throwing the ball 30 times. He's going to be in that. He needs to be super efficient, right? It's going to be, if we're being honest, it'll probably be like 15 of 20, right? Like 17 of 22, 17 of 24. You'll see a stat line like that. That's where I believe he'll be at, because I do believe this is going to be a very, very, very balanced attack, right? And then when you add in the balanced attack of the run game and the legs of Andrew, that means everybody's going to have to squeeze the box, so you get a lot more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? A lot more opportunities downfield. And this is my issue, Dave. My issue is, I believe Body he can. Let me be very clear. I don't believe Body's a gunslinger. I want to be let me be very mindful of what I'm saying. I don't think he's a kill to where he can throw the ball 40 or 50 times every game. But we've seen, if you go look at Andrew at Texas Southern, he's done it, right? He's done it. He's thrown the ball 30, 40 times. He's gone toe-to-toe with a kill glass his senior year, right? And went battle for battle, score for score, right? So he has the possibility. My issue is what I don't like about this offense is this is not college. This is not where football is going. That's what's so frustrating to me about this Chris Barnett style offense. This is not college football. This is not what college football is, right? You get what I'm saying? So it limits. If you have a very dynamic quarterback, Chris Barnett's offense will limit him. So it's like, I'm going to limit you. I'm going to limit the mistakes you do, but I'm also going to eliminate the potential of what you can be, right? So it's a lot of that involved. I'm not talking about Alabama State as a team. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't like that for Andrew, right? That's my issue. I don't like that for Andrew because sometimes it depends on what kind of quarterback you have, right? Like if you have a quarterback like a Musa, that works. What Chris Barnett does is perfect for Musa, right? You're not asking me to do a lot. You're not asking me to throw you out in a game. You're not asking me to do that. You're squeezing down my errors, or you're squeezing down my margin of error. So it's like it's like low risk, low reward, because I'm a, it's easy, hitch route here, maybe a one shot. But if you miss that one shot, it probably ain't gonna come back. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of that. And if your run game is not working and you haven't done this with your quarterback, it's so many things about this offense I do not like. I'm just being honest. Is it going to work in the SWAC? Yes, because most teams are average. So when you're going against the top level teams of Southern, FAM, Alcorn, Tahoe State, and probably Grambling this year, and even PV, right? When you're going against those top 6 teams, maybe A&M because they're a rival, they're going to make you do something. They're going to make you do something different than your playbook, right? A great defense will. PV don't have a great defense. So, like a great defense will, like Alcorn. Alcorn is not going to let you run the ball down their throat. They're just not going to let you do that, right? So it's that the issue for me is that I don't think when you need to have it, this is the playbook that you want to have when you need to have it, right? Like this is what I tell y'all about how great Willie Simmons is when you see Willie Simmons with a quarterback, you see the style in which he plays towards the quarterback. He is not a one-size-fits-all offensive coordinator. That's why I kind of tell y'all these one-size-fit-all offensive coordinators do not work. They're not transcendent, because if you don't give me what I have, right? If you don't give me what I have, then what? You get what I'm saying? That's my issue. If everything is not perfect for me, then what? You get what I'm saying? That's my issue. So when I see styles like this, it's like, well, if the running game is not working, right? Like people always talk about him at North Carolina A&T. Well, he had Tariq Cohen. Like you had an all-time transcendent player. I would give him the ball 50 times if I could. Like, that ain't hard. That ain't hard. I mean, if I got Tariq Cohen in the backfield, you're damn right I'm going to give him the ball 30, 40. I'm going to hand it to him 20 times, then I'm going to throw it to him 10 more times, right? If I could, I'd direct snap it to his ass just to make sure he touched the ball. Like that, to me, that's not hard. That's not a hard job as an offensive coordinator when you got Tariq Cohen, right? So I'm just a little reserved on the play calling. I haven't seen it. I've seen a little bit of it. I think some of the plays and the concepts, I do believe they will work, right? My thing is I like offensive coordinators that can fit towards what that team does well. And I think with Andrew, if you keep it around, I think if you the max I would have probably every game would be like 30, like below 30, like in that 20-30 range. But it still, it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be like Shador his first year where it's not past 5 yards, right? Like everything was like 5 yards, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, right? And he just had superstar players that would just make plays, right? So I would take a lot more shots, but that's neither here nor there. But I do think that they'll be able to compete at a high level with this style offense, because I don't believe that the play callers in the SWAC are that great. I don't believe there's only a few teams that have a great defensive staff, right? Which is Southern, Alcorn, and FAM. like great defenses. You get what I'm saying? Like defensively, like, hey, they're gonna show up and play. In Alabama State, right? Everybody else is like, we play defense when we sometimes feel like it, when we sometimes don't, right? And that includes Powell State. Some days they'll show up and they're like, oh, we're really good today. And then next day they'll show up and it's bombs over Baghdad. They letting everything go over their head, right? So it's just one of those days. But we'll see. That's just, I would keep a lookout on that offensive scheme. I'm a little skeptical on it. I think it's going to look like the 90s style NFL, and it's going to be boring. Defensively, listen, nobody stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, nobody really stood out to me. The D-line was You know what I'm saying? Like, it was You get what I'm saying? So, the secondary was okay. You know, they were good. The thing for me is, I want to know where they be finding these 6'3", 6'4" corners at. These jokers are huge. You know what I'm saying? The linebackers are like Rico Dozier. I think he's going to be great. He didn't really stand out to me in this game. Even against the second team right? Like even against the second team like Rico, he didn't just pop off the field. Like when I'm watching, I'm like, that boy everywhere, right? Like I didn't get that type of vibe from it. But once again, it was a spring game, so I'm taking it all into consideration. But I'll tell you this. The reason I trust my eye is because I saw the spring game last year, right? And I said, that Bama Keyshawn Johnson is the next thing, right? I saw him at the end of when he first got to Bama, when Jeremiah Hickson was there, I saw Keyshawn Johnson then, and I was like, he's pretty good. But when I saw him in the spring game the next year, I was like, yo, that kid different. That kid is different, right? And that's why I trust my eye. So when I don't see that thing. Like I didn't see even that wide receiver. Like nobody was just like, ooh, right? They got some guys that can run, but it wasn't like, like, oh man, this kid, like how 23 and 40, like they just popped off the field, defensively, not a lot of guys stood out to me defensively. I think they'll probably be great as a unit as of right now, but I think as the season goes, maybe when some new portal guys come in or whoever, and they got their whole allotment of everybody, then maybe one of the two guys will pop off the tape. But in the spring game, I didn't really see anybody that was just like, ooh, wow, that wowed me. So. The second best OC. I mean, that's fair. I mean, a lot of other guys don't have the resume. I'll tell you what. I'll take. I think him and Brandon Weeden will probably be a push for me. I like Brandon though, because Brandon fits my style of offense. Right? Brandon fits my style of offense. I think I would take Tony Hole over Chris Barnett. But it's a preference. I like guys that are versatile. And I don't believe Chris Barnett is versatile. I'll have to go back and watch some of his old stuff at North Carolina A&T. But when I watched that Winston-Salem, I didn't see anything special. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see nothing special when I was watching some Winston-Salem State tape, you know what I'm saying? Because no, you know what? That's a good point. I think okay. I'm glad you said that, Zay, and I'm sorry, Alabama State. I'm gonna get off a little bit. I'm gonna come back to the spring game. I promise you. I'm not gonna go too far down Powell State. People ask me, what do I see in Jacoby and Morgan? And I think Jacoby and Morgan can be the Cam Newton of the SWAC. And it's not all based off skill set. It's a lot based off, one, his measurables, one, his talent, right? He's a great runner of the football. He's 6'4", 6'5" kid, 230, 220 solid, right? He could be a Cam Newton style, just 4th and 1, 3rd and 2. You'll see Jacoby and Morgan, QB power, QB keep. You'll see a lot of that. That's why I say he'll be the Cam Newton. The thing is, I think TC needs a mobile quarterback. He just has to have it, because if you see his old stuff with NCCU, the quarterback having the ability to run is one of his strong plays within his offense. So I think not having a guy that could really move like the white boy last year just kind of hindered what that offense could look like. But I think this year you're going to see a lot more RPO. And, you can go check out, Zoe and them, and they'll tell you more about, what they're going to be. But just based off that, I think that's what you're going to see a lot more of. Now, I don't know about the other stuff that goes on. Like, I don't know about the receivers or whatever. I can speak on Jacoby Morgan. I watched the Syracuse tape. I think the kid has a lot of potential. And he could probably be a top 3 quarterback in the SWAC just based off running ability as well as his passing ability. And I mean, bro, you can't teach height, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Like, come on, man. Like, you can't teach that. So at the end of the day. All right, now back to Alabama State. We off Powell State. So overall, this is my grades. B+ for the offense. Defense, I gave it a C, and the production, A+. I'm just talking about like across the board, right? Across the board, just everything. The setup, the halftime, the band, the TV show that they had going on for the Hornet Sports Network, just all the thought that Alabama State put into this spring game. It was more of an event than something to the wayside, right? Like a lot of HBCUs say, hey, we got to play this game. All right, we got a spring game. Come on out. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. Whoop-de. It wasn't like that. It was it felt like a party. That's what it felt. It felt like a great time, event, party, spring game, and everything like that. Now, my overall thoughts of the spring game is this. I did not like the setup. I liked the offense versus defense, but there was like no situational stuff. Like he didn't go goal line. Like from what I remember, I could have missed some plays because I was walking up to the skybox, but I didn't really see a lot of situational stuff, right? Like it's 3rd and 5 or it's 3rd and 10 and you got to go here and it's 4th and 2 and the defense has to get a stop. Like I didn't see a lot of that. I would have liked to see more of that situational football, of the pressure of having to make a play, having to make a stop. I didn't like that. It just felt like, I agree with Mr. Campbell in the comments. Like it just felt like it was everybody for themselves. Like, hey, you go out there and you can do a drive. You go out there and do a drive. It was no like, hey, ball's over here. We're going in on the 20. You got to score, right? Like it was no pressure involved. It was no 2-minute drill. It was just like, go play football. Like that's what it felt like. It was no real structure to the spring game. And then next thing you know, it was over. Right? You saw all the backups come in. Oh, let me say this. Listen. If Alabama State has to go to one of their backups, that's going to be a tough one. They got a kid named, I think his name is Zach Sims or Sims. He's like number 16, number 15, about 6'3", 6'4". He has a funky throwing motion, but I mean, he's okay. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying that at all. They got a kid named Lanford. He's more of a runner. He's okay. It's Mama Body says he's nice. I don't think he's nice. I think he's okay. I got to see more. I got to see more. And I think he's like a true freshman at the same time. So he has plenty of time to grow. But he has great size for a quarterback. I mean, that's what you want to have, like 6'3", 6'4", kick, and heard he can run. So it just is what it is. Who else? What else did I see? Listen. The kicker. Jesus Christ. Hey, listen. The kicker got a leg. The kicker can kick. Now, he might be a little off on the aiming. Okay? He might be a little off on the aiming. But the kicker can kick. I mean, he kicked a 48-yard field goal. He missed it, but he had. He would have been good from 55. Like the kick can kick. Okay, the kick can kick. He just gotta aim it. You gotta aim it. You know what I'm saying? So, but he got a leg. He got a leg for sure. So he was kicking 48, 50-yard field goals like there was nothing. Like he had plenty of leg, just couldn't get. I mean, he just couldn't aim it right. So I think there's a lot to that. I haven't seen any other body. I haven't seen nobody else's spring game. I'm gonna go watch whatever I can. If we're talking about TC's time as an OC, I think let me say this. I think his best tape was against Alabama A&M. I felt like after Alabama A&M, you saw that somebody took some of the reins from him because it wasn't the same after that. Like against Alabama A&M, I think I came off a bye in that game, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it was, yeah, it was a bye. You came off a bye. You had 2 weeks to prepare, and it seemed like he had everything going. I mean, that reverse, I think that reverse in the red zone was just amazing. Like it was like a toss back reverse. I don't know if it was JD Martin or somebody who called it, but whatever. He was just in his bag. But ever since that game, I never saw the same creativity in the play calling. It became real mundane and real like, hey, it goes here and hey, it goes there. And I don't think that's TC Taylor. That's from what I've seen in his play calling. That's not him. So I think they told him to kind of dial it back for Shedeur and make it. And listen, and I'm being honest, like you hear Shedeur, you heard Shedeur say it in the Super Bowl media run. He said he doesn't like option routes. Like he doesn't like multiple options. He likes to know where everything is going to be at so he can determine where he wants to go with the ball, which he's a great reader of the field, right? So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that as of right now, it just is what it is. Let me say this. I think me saying, first of all, Alabama State is not my bandwagon team yet. I'm just rooting for Andrew. Okay, I'm just rooting for Andrew. Now, this is my thing about this Alabama State to the Celebration Bowl. I think you really have to understand what you've lost on defense, right? Like you have to replace a lot of these. You got to replace a Mikey Victor. You got to replace a Adrian Maddox. You got to replace a Bubba Adams. Like you have lost some all SWAC defenders. And your D line, it doesn't have Nelson and Gaddy on these and on the D line. So you have a lot to replace. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is if you think your defense is just going to roll out there and be great as it's always been, when you lost pivotal pieces to it, including your quarterback of the defense, which is Bubba, I would just tell you to pump the brakes. I do think the expectations for a SWAC championship is credible because, I mean, it's really just between you and FAMU, if we're being honest. You've beat Jackson. You've beat A&M. Eddie Robbins beat A&M every since he's gotten there, right? And then you have FAMU, which you haven't beaten, right? And that's your homecoming game. So I just think there's a lot, I just think there's a lot that goes with it before you just say Celebration Bowl. But I do think having expectations to make it to the SWAC championship, I do think Alabama State should have the expectation to make it to SWAC championship. You know what I'm saying? But I would just be remiss if I didn't say defensively, you're also, you know what I'm saying? Like you also got to make sure. Let's not play this game. Let's not play this game. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, Reese. Because the first time he lost to you, it was like a 50-48 game. 51-48, I believe. The second time he lost to you, his shoulder, he messed up his shoulder when he was up 21-7. Let's not do this, okay? It's context to that. It's context. So he really didn't even lose the game. It wasn't him. When he went down, he was up 21 points, or at least 18. So let's not play this. Let's not do that. right, let's not do that. Let's keep it into context. The real question is why you keep losing the Magic City Classic. What is that? 0-2 now? What is that? 0-2 now? So, and PV ain't never beat nobody in the SWAC championship, so I guess we're even. He ain't never beat PV. Y'all ain't never beat nobody in the SWAC championship. Guess we're even. I keep trying to tell y'all the last time y'all won a SWAC championship, Drake dropped You the Best. So Far Gone was the #1 album. Let's not play this game. Let's not do this. Okay? Let's not do this. We were having such an amicable moment here. We were just shooting the breeze. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying. We're just shooting the breeze. It's actually some really good math because you went to the SWAC championship twice. You're 0-2. Andrews played you twice. He's 0-2. Sounds like really good math to me. Or was it 3 times? No, because he's a junior now. No, was it? Oh, no. I think it's 2. All right. Where do you see JSU? What I would like to see him is at the bottom. I mean, you know, that's why I would like to. No Diddy though. But where I would like to see him is at in the basement. That's where I would like to see him. Where do I see them? I would prefer in the basement. I have to see their wide receivers, right? I believe in Rico Powers. I've always been a fan of Rico Powers. Fabian McCray is too roller coaster. Maybe he takes the next step. You know, he dropped a lot of balls. Isaiah Spencer, he has potential, but they got to be more consistent. That's the thing with their wide receiver play. Their wide receiver play has to be more consistent. Dog. Everybody says I underestimate you, and then I literally guessed your score last year. I literally guessed your whole record last year. What are you talking about, Q? How did I underestimate you? I said you Bama's will go 7-4, and that's exactly what you went, 7-4. Nobody's underestimating you. You're overestimating yourself. Okay? Sit down. Anyway, listen, this is the thing with Tahoe State, right? This is the thing with Tahoe State. They don't have any A+ players anymore. They don't have the Nuggets. They don't have the Zays. They don't have the Houstons. They don't have the Aubrey Millers. They don't have the A+ players anymore. The only A+ player they have on that whole team is Irv Mulligan. He's the only first round SWAC draft pick. Like, you're like, hey, you gotta know, let me get Irv. Everybody else on that team, you're like, I'll take them when I take them. Right? Like, I'll take them when I take them. So it's a lot of that with Tahoe State now. They don't have these A+ players like they had before. So now you're depending on players to either step up or just be more consistent. Just be more consistent, right? So you know what you're going to get from Irv Mulligan if he stays healthy. He's probably going to be a top 2 back. Zoe, Zoe, you know we talked last season in the preseason, and you was telling me all about this, what y'all going to do, how fast y'all was going to be, and how y'all was doing this, and none of that came to pass. So stop it now. Just stop it now, Zoe. Just stop it now. So, you know what I'm saying? I just need them to be more consistent, right? I need to see more from their wide receivers. Once again, like I said all year, you guys didn't have not one player special on the D-line. I told you that. I told that Bama outlaw, Marquell Outlaw, whatever his name is. He trying to jump into my DMs talking about our defense is going to be better than it was last year. I said, how? You're not running the same scheme. Anybody that knows football knows that half the pressure y'all got was because of blitzing and man coverage, and y'all went completely away from it. What sense does that make? That was the whole mantra of Jackson State for the last 2 years that was special. man across the board. We gonna blitz you, and your quarterback's gonna have to make a decision. Then you decided to go, we're gonna rush 4 and drop 7. And you had nobody special on the D-line. Come on, man. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Stop it. Devontae Davis is special. But he ain't Warren Sapp. He's a great run defender. Like I said, he's going to do his job. See, this is how I know a lot of y'all Bama's don't know football. Devontae Davis is going to do his job every time. He's going to draw a double team. That is his job. He did it well every time. But what else did the other players do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's why Devontae Davis is like, yo, I'm getting double teamed for what? My other guys can't even win. You know it's bad when you're saying, hey, let's just block the D tackle. Everybody else is man on. Come on, man. What are we doing? Stop it. No football before you out here just making the comments. So once again, where do I see Ohio State? I don't know, because I don't know what you're going to get from anybody. Right? They didn't show the spring game this year. That was smart, because last year you pretty much saw what their team wasn't in the spring game. You're like, oh, these ninjas ain't going to be nowhere near as good as they think they are. You can see that by what was running up and down the field. But they was like, nah, we ain't going to broadcast it this time, because they scary. That's exactly why. They scary. Period. I think FAMU is going to have a hard transition offensively. I think defensively they're going to be straight. Cozy has played for great defenses at Florida State. He understands defenses. He was an elite DB at Florida State. He's going to understand defense. Offensively, listen, FAMU is going to go through the phase where you had a really good woman who did a lot for you. And now you're going to date somebody who can't do the same thing. And I'm going to keep saying this until the cows come home. Willie Simmons was by far, head and shoulders, the best offensive mind in HBCU football. That is why he's gone. That is exactly why he's gone. Right? He is a great offensive-minded coach. When you can draw it up, listen, I kept telling y'all all season long, the only people that could beat FAMU was FAMU. Nobody wanted to believe me. Oh, Scotty, you just love FAMU? I'm like, no. Nobody can beat FAMU but FAMU. And then when you add Willie Simmons and his play calling ability, you didn't have a chance in hell. You didn't have a chance in hell. And anytime you needed a play, Willie Simmons was going to draw it up. He was going to draw it up. I don't know if FAMU is going to have that. So they're going to have growing pains in offense. They're just going to, because you're going to have expectations of what you've seen the last 3 to 4 years with Willie, and you got this new guy who don't do it the same, right? You had a girl, she did it just the way you liked it. Rubbed on your ear, patted your head, rubbed your back, bam. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Now you got this new girl, she tickling your feet, rubbing your knee, patting your shoulder. It don't work the same. I'm not getting the enjoyment like I used to. Okay? Trying to keep it PG-13. Trying to keep it PG-13. So that is the growing pains that FAMU is going to have to go through. And you're just going to have to live with it. You're going to have to see like, oh my God, this isn't working. Oh my God, that isn't working. Oh my God. Talent-wise, FAMU is always going to be at the top of the heap, because they're going to be more talented than a lot of teams, period. They're going to have more talent, right? Because they built a natural pipeline that most schools could not build like FAMU did, right? FAMU has a natural pipeline that they've built through Florida. The way they recruit and everything like that, bringing kids home back to Florida. And most of the kids coming back home to Florida are better than half the kids out there in the world. It just is what it is, right? So that is going to be a struggle. I think defensively they're going to be straight. Offensively, you're going to see a struggle. Let me see. Southern. I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm Southern, I'm just doing a straight, like, we just scratching it and we just going. I'm just playing the best. I'm playing the best. Whoever, I'm just playing the best, right? I'm literally just playing the best player possible if I'm Southern. Like, I'm not, it ain't no favorites, it ain't no favoritism, it ain't no you been here. Whoever is the best at that position, that is who we riding with. Point blank, period. And if that's that kid Zay, who's a sophomore, then God damn it, that is gonna be Zay at quarterback. Because I believe that kid has SWAC player of the year written all over him. The lefty from the area. So we'll see what that looks like. All right. Who else? Listen, man, I don't know what Alcorn's going to. Defensively, I think Alcorn's going to be elite. I think defensively, Alcorn's going to be elite. Offensively, I just don't know what you're going to get, right? Like, is Draco going to be the guy? Because he wasn't the guy last year. You know, they say because he got hurt, but the Bama couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I mean, I seen the game at Southern Miss. The kid couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if he fell out of, I mean, God darn it, like he fell in the hay bin. He was just throwing them. It was Draco, all right, because he couldn't control the recall. It was just letting it spray. So I don't know if that's the kind of quarterback you want to have going forward. And I know they have this high-paced, fast-paced offense with the new OC from UAPB and stuff like that. I've seen some of his old footage. They're going to be fast. What Joe thought Ohio State was going to be, that's what Alcorn is going to be this year. Alcorn is going to be super fast. I mean, they're probably not even going to huddle. That's how fast they're going to be moving, right? So I think it's going to be fun to see. And I think I'll tell you this. I think with the guy that they have, and if they use that kid Draco's feet more than they use his arm, and you ask him to listen, you shouldn't ask Draco to throw the ball more than 15 times. Period. Big period. Like, don't ask that Bama, Mako, Draco, Laco. Don't ask him to throw the ball more than 15 times. Right? You know what I'm saying? Don't ask him to throw the ball with 15. I'm telling you, that kid is sporadic at best. You feel me? So you're going to see that Bama run. Okay? Big Raco run. Hey, Rico, Racco, I don't give a damn. Like, yeah, that ain't it. That kid ain't it passing it. He can hit every now and again, but he's not consistent. His attempts need to be as low as possible. But I think defensively, Alcorn is going to be off the chain. Let me tell you a team that I really think I know people are going to be dismissive of, but I really think you might want to be on the lookout. And I think it's Grambling. And I'm this is why I'm telling you this. I talked to Mickey Joseph about a month or two ago. And he literally said most of the issues that Grambling faced were just fundamental problems, which I had been saying from Jump Street. I mean, you're just you're like it. I'm like, y'all don't understand how bad fundamentally Grambling was last year. Like the dumb stuff that they did, like defensively, like y'all know I love Don Thornton. I love Coach Don Thornton. So this is not like I love Diva, okay? Cedric Thornton was probably one of the worst defensive coordinators last year, and it wasn't even close. And it wasn't even close. Like, I'm so, like, it, like, some of the stuff that he was doing, it just did not make sense. And in the game that he should have been let go was Alabama A&M. If you let Xavier Langford run for 190 yards when you know the Bama can't throw over 20, you need to be fired. Period. And that is on Mary Had a Little Lamb. He should have been let go. Right? So I think a lot of that situation was just bad fundamental stuff. Like, the thing with Miles Crawley is this. Miles Crawley can make all the throws. But sometimes when you have a guy that can, Miles Crawley is a gunslinger, a true definition of the word gunslinger. Sometimes you got to tell a gunslinger you can't shoot every shot. right? You can't shoot every shot. Sometimes the shots you don't take are some of the best shots, right? So you don't always have to push the ball 15, 20 yards down the field. You don't always have to show that you can make the 40, 50-yard pass. Sometimes just hitting the check down is the best play possible, right? And I think a lot of that was Miles Crawley, in the big games was Miles Crawley pressing, one, and two, them not doing enough to protect him in the pocket. If you know you can't block certain stuff, then you need to bring a tight end. You need a two tight end set it. You need to make it comfortable for your quarterback. And I think a lot of that was just bad coaching in some aspects, right? So I think Grambling is going to be a very talented team. And every coach that I've talked to about Mickey Joseph, they said, Scotty, I don't know how he is X's and O's wise, but he can get talent. He can get talent. He is a magnificent recruiter. So I don't think they're going to lack talent. I just want to see how it gets put together because remind you, they got Eric Dooley for OC. I'm already skeptical. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm already skeptical. So maybe I might spoke too soon. Okay, so it just is what it is. So let me see. Let me man, listen, bro. I don't know what to think of Little Bill. I really don't. Last year they were great defensively. I don't say great. They were really good. Their front seven was legit. Their D line was an absolute problem. And if you didn't believe me, go watch the Palo State game. That D line gave Palo State fits, absolute fits. Bethune-Cookman's D line was absolutely amazing. Their quarterback play was absolutely atrocious. Their skill position players were absolutely atrocious on the offensive side of the ball. So offensively, I don't know what they're going to look like. Defensively, they should be pretty good, right? Defensively, they should be pretty good because they were pretty good last year and filling in those holes and spots. But offensively, I don't know what they're going to look like. So that is what it is. I think UAPB is going to look a little bit better. I think UAPB is going to look a lot better offensively because they got Tony Hall. Now, my thing is if Alonzo Hampton can stop playing duck, goose at this damn quarterback position, maybe he can ride with somebody and maybe they'll get better as the season goes along. Because every game cannot be a duck, goose. Like, you can't play quarterback like that, right? Like, you got to pick somebody, give them a chance to, win the job or do a couple games or whatever. And then, hey, if you can't get it, you can't get it. But every game, you can't be starting a new quarterback. Every game, you can't start a new quarterback. And let me say this, okay? Let me say this before I get up out of here. PV. This is my issue with PV. I think offensively, PV is going to be pretty good, right? Defensively, they are basic and they're boring. And that's why they get their ass punished by white schools every single time, because that defense they run, man, base, quarters, cover three, that shit's basic and boring. And you're not going to be an elite offensive-minded team. Like, if you play in Alabama State and they just want to run the ball, then maybe that works, right? Like, run the ball, we'll play base, and, we'll meet you in the middle. That's cool. But when if you play an elite offensive-minded coordinator, you will get your ass tore up. That cover three base quarters crap is not going to work against high-level offenses. You have to be more exotic. It is boring watching Bubba McDowell call defenses. Whoever their defensive coordinator is literally doing defense by dummies. He is literally on the sideline reading the book Defense for Dummies. We're going to go cover three, strong, slant left. Like, it's nothing creative. They rarely ever blitz. They play cover three off. Like, they don't even disguise it. They don't even disguise the cover three. It's literally they sit 5 to 7 yards off. And you're like, okay, this ain't hard. This ain't hard at all. It's not. Listen, that is their issue. That is their issue. That's their issue. Period. Is that if you get a good offensive-minded coach who knows and can do basic understanding of defenses, you'll eat that shit up. The only way you go base that, like the style that PV plays, if you just have dogs. Like when you listen, usually times where a team just does base or just something really simple is that they don't want their players to think, they just want you. Like if you think about Seahawks, right? The Seattle Seahawks, you knew what they was going to play. Richard Sherman said it all the time. You knew we was in cover 3, but you ain't good enough to beat it. Like that, Richard Sherman said that in Undisputed when he was on the channel. He was like, yeah, we ran cover 3, but you're not good enough to beat me. You're not good enough to beat Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Brandon Wagner, Brandon Browner. You're not good enough. And then with that D-line they hunting, you're not good enough. You're not better than us. So that makes sense when you just, if you like Ohio State when they had Dion, you know what we're in. We're gonna go bear, man, blitz. We in it. We ain't changing this shit up. This is what we in. Beat it. Find it. Make the right read and make the throw. You not good enough. And Prairie View is not that type of team. So when I tell you that is just what it is, right? That's just what it is. When you're not that good, skill-wise, you have to be more creative. You have to show smoke mirrors. You got to make people think. But when you just sit back and do cover 3 quarters or cover 4 or whatever, cloud zone, like that basic shit, like you're going to get ran out the gym. But there's not a lot of great offensive minds in the SWAC, so you get away with that. You'll get away with that for year after year after year after year because you're just better than the average teams. That's really what it is. You're just better than the average teams. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those. It's just one of those situations. Like you just got to understand what it is, and that's my issue with PV. Right? That's just my issue with PV. So, Alabama A&M. Listen, bro. I think you guys are like the kid that always gets sick. Like you always just don't have a defense. Like if you can count on one thing, A&M is not going to have a defense. I don't know what to say. I don't know who you need to hire. I don't know. But if you can bet your bottom dollar on one thing is that Alabama A&M ain't not going to have a defense. So how in the hell are you supposed to do something and you ain't got no defense? And you damn sure ain't got no Akil Glass back there to, score 40 to 45 points every damn Sunday and Saturday. So it's just like, what are we doing here? Like y'all playing, y'all every game y'all go in with one hand tied behind your back. Oh, we gonna win. Oh, we gonna win this one. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, one jab. Pow, 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 pow. Like y'all always go into a game with one hand tied behind your back because your defense is trash. And if your offense don't show up, that's how you get blown out. So what are we talking about? It's you going against your own whack defense. How else do you go into overtime? Because people were scoring on each other. What are we doing? You think I'm going to let you get away with that? You think because you went into overtime in your own spring game that your defense is good? Man, come on now. You got to be. Come on. Come on, Reese. Come on, Reese. You got to be smarter than that, Reese. That's like two midgets beating up on themselves and like, yeah, man. Oh, I beat him down. Bro, y'all both midgets. Who was you really fighting? Yourself. Stop it. Let's not do that. Come on, stop it. So I'm just y'all got my blood temperature up. I'm gonna leave it at that. Bama State by oh! Shout out to my man Khalil, right? Y'all know Khalil. He was at Bama State, Now, I told Khalil he gonna have to come get this smoke. We're gonna have to do a show together because he gonna have to answer these questions in the public setting. Because as I recall, there was a young man name Demetrius Davis, who he said, not me, who he said was the best quarterback in the SWAC. Now, for somebody to be the best quarterback in the SWAC, don't they got to be in the SWAC? Now, how can you be the best quarterback in the SWAC and you in the portal? How that work? How that work? How that work? Yeah, I'm gonna just need him to come on and answer those questions. That's all. That's all. No, Blue. He was supposed to. No, Blue. He was supposed to be the next great Alabama State QB. And the funny thing is, the same guy he said he was better than, guess who his new starting quarterback is? I'm not even going to say no names because you know how I say it. But the guy that he said he was better than is now his starting quarterback. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Don't God work in mysterious ways? What God be working, don't he? God be working. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, it's a little. Nah, but I met Khalil and Kendall, man. Those were some good dudes, man. Kendall had the nerve to have prime shades on at Alabama State spring game. Do you know how disrespectful that is? You got prime shades on at an Alabama State spring game. Ain't loyal. Bama's ain't loyal, boy. Bama's ain't loyal. See, I peep all that. Bama's ain't loyal. Bama's ain't loyal. It's, hey, teach his own, man. Teach his own. All right, man, I'm going to get up out of here, guys. I appreciate y'all time. Listen, tomorrow, Outspoken. Tonight, you already know, national championship game. Shout out to South Carolina for winning that. For the Blacks. Shout out for the Blacks. Black power. Right? So tonight, national championship game. No Outspoken. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Outspoken. We're going to have a special guest come through. We're going to talk national. We're going to talk spring game. We're going to talk the basketball championship game as well, and some other stuff that's come up. All right. So, man, we appreciate y'all. Listen, until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm a holler. God bless.